What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today, doing the announcement that Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios is on. That fight takes place Saturday, February 5th on FOX PPV, I believe. And it's going to feature Keith Thurman returning after a 2.5-year layoff to take on Mario Barrios, who is making his debut at Welterweight 147. So both these guys are coming off of losses in their last bout. You got Keith Thurman, the former, unified champion. He used to be the #1 guy at 147. He's been calling a lot of people out, talking a lot of shit, but the one thing he hasn't been doing is fighting. Injuries supposedly are still keeping him out, but, since 2017, and we're going on, by the time he fights in February, close to a 5-year span between fights, he's only fought 3 times in 5 years, 5 calendar years. So, that's not good. It really isn't. And, we're going to see this. I think this is his last run right here. It is. He came back in 2019, edged out Josecito Lopez, and almost got knocked out in that fight. Edged him out by a majority decision, and then he lost a close split decision to Manny Pacquiao. But, I don't think a lot of people were surprised that Pacquiao won that fight, but I think a lot of people liked that Thurman came back so strong in the second half of the fight, So, heading into the this fight with Mario Barrios is interesting. Is Thurman going to be anything like the old Thurman, or is the younger Barrios gonna show how good he really is? Barrios coming off of a 11th round TKO loss to Gervonta Tank Davis at 140. That was his first time he really stepped up the competition back in June and took on Gervonta, and it was a really good back and forth fight between the two. It really was. Davis took over in the later rounds, wore down Barrios and stopped him. But considering, he hadn't faced anybody really even close to the quality of Gervonta Davis, that was an impressive performance by him. So now he's moving up to 147, wants to make an impression there. And I think a win over Keith Thurman puts him in the top 10. And to be honest, a win for Keith Thurman, just coming back because of what he's done in his career, wins over Danny Garcia, wins over a win over Sean Porter, that'll put Thurman back in the top 10. It will, and he also has a win over another top 10 guy, Josecito Lopez. Actually, I think the main reason that Lopez, for me, the last couple of years, why he's a top 10 guy is because of his performance against Thurman, and then his performances since, knocking out John Molina Jr. impressively, and knocking out Francisco Santana impressively. So, but that all started with the Thurman fight. So, Thurman gets the win here, he moves back into the top 10. Barrios gets the win, he becomes a serious player in the top 10, and in a division that is still majority controlled by the PBC. So, this is an interesting battle, but unless they load the undercard really well, it's a battle I'm probably not going to watch. And partly is they could load the undercard really well, but I already said on my last Is On video, that's the same night that Ramirez and Pedraza are fighting in Fresno, which is only about an hour from where I live, a little bit over an hour. Me and the wife are probably going to head out and go watch that fight. But I think it's a good matchup. I really do. I think it's a really good, strong matchup right here, to see where these two guys are at, both of them. And it should be decent. I think the undercard's going to be okay. But, Keith Thurman still has a name, but that's really all he's holding on to right now. And he needs to show in this first fight that he still at least somewhat belongs in the welterweight top 10. And Mario Barrios, this is his chance to prove that he's a legitimate contender at welterweight. So, which is still one of the better divisions in boxing. It's not the best anymore, but it's still, top heavy with the top 2 guys maybe in the whole sport in terms of talent, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. And it's got a lot of young lions that are ready to strike this year. A lot of young sharks ready to strike. So can't wait to see what the older unified champion Thurman can do against the younger, wanting to prove himself, Mario Barrios. So we'll see what happens. But again, that's Saturday, February 5th, Fox pay-per-view. Thurman versus Barrios is on. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.